All right, a tough night for the Padres. Last time that we talked about the Padres, it was after they lost to the Tigers. After that day off, Padres come into Petco Park and they get shut out again. Shut out against the Tigers in that morning game our time, then shut out tonight. And the common theme with those two, one, the injuries, but two, the other guy on the mound was pretty dominant, pretty nasty. I was not watching this game on TV. I was at the game. That's why this is coming out a little bit later because I was getting home from the game. So I couldn't totally see how nasty he was. But going into it, baseball fans, I think we know the name, Shane Baz. And he's one of the best starting pitchers in the American League. Right now, yeah, it's totally early, but he would be getting Cy Young votes. Um, he's just, he's nasty. It's what I saw at Petco tonight from him, and I saw it from warmups, just from the start. Easy velocity. Like, doesn't even look like he's trying hard, and it's just boom, 94, 97. And then with the breaking pitches that he has, that's pretty tough. And obviously, Xander is the big target tonight, the big punching bag for Padres fans. And I'm not going to sit here and say like it's not warranted. Of course, it was a bad game. The throwing error, it's not like it was Billy Hamilton running down the line. He had time and he throws it in the dirt. Sheets probably would say, yeah, I got to pick that. But Xander, you just make that throw. It wasn't the hardest throw in the world. And later in the game, actually, he made that throw on a running play in and threw it to first. And I'm thinking, well, could have used that one there in the third inning, in the top of the third there. But that runner gets on. And of course, predictable, that runner ends up scoring. Now, Tatis, I don't know if he lost the ball or just didn't get a good jump on it. And then he was indecisive and he was like, all right, I'm not going to lay out for that and it's going to drop. But that obviously moved runners. But without that error, it would have been, I think, first and second. Even if Tatis lets that ball get down, first and second with 2 outs later in the inning instead of 1 out. And with that, at least, that runner on third there. And so, yeah, the only scoring there was the Yandy Diaz sac fly out to left, and a runner scored. Michael King, I was not expecting him to only go 5 innings in this game. He was effective, but not super efficient. 9 punch outs. While you look at that, and it's like, okay, yeah, 9 punch outs, great. That's at least 27 pitches, and more than that, obviously, because not all those are on 1, 2, 3 strikes, right? The hits add up, the 1 walk. So he'll probably be happy with like the result. He didn't give up a ton of runs. He didn't walk a ton of guys, but his expectation for himself has to be more than 5 innings when he's one of the top guys in this rotation. So that was a little bit disappointing, but shocker, bullpen doesn't give up any runs. And this was what I was expecting going in, to be quite honest, was bullpen continue to pitch well. You got King, you got Cease, Vasquez in this series. The hard part was going to be us scoring because the Rays offense ain't that great. It's the Rays pitching. And then you have Baz obviously here in this opener, and he goes 7 innings. Talk about efficient. That was Baz today. King, not. And I'm not saying that was the difference. Obviously, the difference was Padres not coming through in situations, the Xander error, and then what happened later in that inning to go, bring that run in on the sac fly. But, you look at the two. If we just look at the 2 stat lines, Shane Baz versus Michael King, and who should have won this game, then you're giving it to the Rays. You are not even looking at anything else. Not the worst start for Michael King, but not the best either. But this bullpen, I mean, look at the ERAs. Morahone, 2.19, Wandy, 0.84. Credit to him for bouncing back so far this year after not having a great year last year. 1.42 ERA for Estrada, and then 1.80 for Jacob. Not going to get you with velocity, but he still definitely is effective. And he's not Tom Cosgrove, but it reminds me a little bit of Tom Cosgrove because it's that one guy that can add something different that no other guy in that bullpen has. So that helps you stand out, and that's effective. I wasn't watching this game on TV, so I don't know how much Michael King was being pinched by this home plate umpire, the home plate umpire, Tom Hanahan. I saw that he was called up to the big leagues this year, but then I also looked him up and I thought he had been in the big leagues or at least umpired in the big leagues in 2023. So he has some experience, but it seems like he got uh, not maybe it was both sides. You those that were watching the game on TV, you can tell me. But it seemed like Michael Kim was getting pinched, and then Manny was not happy with one of the calls where I want to say I don't think he struck out that at bat. I think he grounded out maybe, but it was one of the pitches earlier in the at bat that he wasn't happy with on a fastball, I believe. Maybe it was outside or he thought that, but I don't know if this showed on the Padres TV broadcast, but he was yapping at the home plate umpire a little bit there, and I'm audibly saying, "Shut up, Manny, shut up," because it's a 1-0 game. We don't need you getting thrown out. Now he did ground out in a situation where the Padres had at least one runner on, grounded into a double play, wasn't running down the line at all. Um, yeah, it was a pretty easy double play. It was I think right at the second baseman to turn that. So Manny's probably like, yeah, not worth it. But I would have liked for him to, run through the bag there. But I'm not going to harp on that. But yeah, tough night for Xander. Tough night at the ball yard for Xander. And obviously the contract gets mentioned. And I just saw Jim Russell actually tweet when will the Padres say enough is enough and just eat the rest of Xander's contract? And we're saying that, well, not me, but someone, Padres fans, I don't think Jim's the only one thinking of it, are saying this April of 2025. We're not even fully in year 3. Like 3 seasons have not been completed in this Xander contract, and it's an 11-year deal. And people are asking, when will the Padres say enough is enough? They're not eating 8 years of the contract, by the way, so we're gonna have to wait on that. But yeah, it was a tough night. Striking out in the 3rd inning with multiple runners on first and second. That pitch, it seemed like it was nasty from where I was sitting. Then I went and watched it, and yeah, that was a nasty breaking ball. And for me, there are some fans that will sit here and do the whole, you get paid to do this, you have to be better. And they won't take into account how hard the game of baseball is. I can't do that. When I see you're facing Shane Baz and he has the nasty breaking ball like that and he has 97, I mean, just seeing there, sitting, in the upper deck watching this, I'm like, yeah, keep throwing him the breaking ball if you're the Rays because he's clearly not comfortable with it. It's tough to do. So I'm not trying to excuse Xander. Like, yeah, he is a big leaguer, and yeah, he has experience hitting breaking balls and facing nasty pitchers. But that's tough. Like, Shane Baz was nasty. Reese Olson the other day was nasty. Now, if the Padres want to go win a World Series, they're going to be facing a bunch of nasty pitchers. So I'm not trying to excuse this. I feel like I need to still put it out there because there are some fans, and you can fan however you want to fan, that won't try to, be in the hitter perspective and that, how hard it is to face these nasty pitchers. That's rough. That's tough. Now, Xander, same time, got to swing the bat there in that strikeout, looking with the runner on second base. Tatis was on second base to end the 8th inning. Got to swing the bat there. Can't strike out looking. But yeah, him striking out swinging there in the 3rd, that did look like a pretty tough pitch to hit. I know it was in the strike zone, and Xander looked like he swung pretty early on that, but that's got to be super tough to hit. So I do want to, you know, try to put myself in Xander's shoes, in these batters' shoes, when you're facing a nasty guy like that tonight. You want to be mad at Xander? Yeah, go ahead, of course. Like, it was disappointing watching it, frustrating watching it, but holy cow, there was a fan like 3 or 4 seats to the left of me tonight. S-bombs all over the place. Gee, damn it. I mean, and it was like, holy cow. This was like after almost every pitch, every out. And it's like, man, do you do that every game? All 162 games, you do that? Watching on the couch, watching at the game. You don't get exhausted by doing that? Like, man, this is 10162, my guy. It was funny, but at the same time, it's like, holy cow. This isn't October right now. Long-term concern, it's not super high because long-term, like, they're gonna get these guys back, but don't expect Merrill or Lockridge to be back during this homestand. Luis Arias could be back that Giant series that starts on Tuesday. Darvish is a while away. Um, those are the main injury updates. But, yeah, like, if the Padres are facing a tough guy like they have the last couple of games, it's gonna be rough to win games. Do they have the talent to, hit a bomb? Yeah, of course. But you just lose that depth in that lineup when you don't have Jake Cronenworth maybe hitting fifth, and instead it's Oscar Gonzalez. Now, maybe if it was the full lineup, maybe it would be Xander hitting fifth, and it's like, who do you want up at the plate tonight, Oscar or Xander? Probably Oscar, although Oscar went 0 for 4 as well and struck out twice. But yeah, um, Tyler Wade is in center field. That's not Jackson Merrill offensively, Love Wade is a bench guy, versatile, speed, but that ain't Jackson Merrill. Terso, it was good to see him get his first hit up the middle. That was awesome. That was the highlight of the game offensively for the Padres in a 1-0 loss. Um, and we'll see how he does, with these opportunities that he's going to get. And I think if you're the Padres, keep rolling him out there. Keep giving him those opportunities to see what he can do because he's now finally in the big league. So let's see what he can do. And then when guys come back, then you can make the decision, but give him that opportunity. Hitting in the bottom third of the order every day and just keep running him out there. What are your other options? You could go with someone like Connor Joe, I guess. But if you're the Padres, do you want to see Connor Joe or do you want to see what Tirso can give you? And have Connor Joe, DH if one of the regulars isn't DHing, or he can play first base or something. But yeah, that's a random thought that I had today. Anything else from this game that stuck out? Hassan Kim's return, that was awesome. Seeing fans, the reception that he got when they showed some of those uh, highlights / pictures on the Jumbotron, and then he was in the dugout. He's hurt, but he's with the team. And I think this was probably planned for him to come back to San Diego. He got a lot of love from Manny and guys, his teammates, Arise, pregame during BP. And yeah, still a fan favorite, obviously, here in San Diego. That video it spread pretty quickly when I posted it of that tribute that the Padres put on the Jumbotron. I didn't think it was gonna be that big, but Hassan Kim's loved. And from what I saw, there was a lot of uh, South Koreans. That's what it seemed like who they were. Really appreciated that the Padres did that for Hassan Kim, so that was cool to see as well. Yeah, tomorrow, Dylan Cease on the mound. Saturday, got the Padres at 5:40. You got SDFC at 4:30. You got the Wave at 4:30. So, going to be a nice afternoon, evening, hopefully, for San Diego sports. Hopefully, all three can come away with wins. And, Dylan Cease, hopefully, he can keep progressing, getting closer to being like the dominant Dylan Cease because it hasn't been all great, obviously, to start the season. And we'll see if the Padres can score a run. I have a feeling they'll have to score more than one run tomorrow to win the game. But maybe tomorrow's their day to shut out the Rays. Who knows?